Alright, so welcome to Blastapopoulos. This is gonna be our second Blastapopoulos. Ninja Q, what usually they do is, I think we're gonna be playing Blastapopoulos for 4 weeks straight after the release of a boss, so this is like week 2. So we have a long ways to go. We're gonna be playing this guy for a very long time, it seems like. But it's a good opportunity to learn what's happening, because this is a cool boss, and you know, I have some thoughts now that I've been playing this boss for a while. And actually, one of the best Paragons versus Blastapopoulos, in my opinion. I think the Dark Paragon is amazing versus Blastapopoulos in general. And something else I wanted to do for this video is I wanted to try out some different things. So each time I play Blastapopoulos, I'm looking to try some other strategy, you know, something that's, well, not the cliche things that you see every week. Also, you guys probably know that I've been MIA in the past couple of days. I've not uploaded a video in a couple of days because I caught something during the weekend, guys. I don't know what it is. It's probably like a stomach virus or something like that, but I was feeling very, very bad and I couldn't get out of bed. And it was just like, it was fever, and it was all the things. I'm not even going into full detail, but it was all the things that you can imagine, and it was just very bad. And I'm still kind of recovering, but I really wanted to do a video because I've not uploaded anything in a couple of days, and I was gonna play Blastapopoulos for myself as well, so I was like, why not make a video out of it anyway? So yeah, let's try and see what we can do. Let's also try out some new strategies. But is this Dart and Druid combo gonna be able to defend? So I really hope it is, because I'm trying to push things a little bit further. So I'm hoping to get at least 3 farms. I want these two guys at the bottom to be 2/0/0s, and then I want to get 1 base farm, and that's when I want to start upgrading the Druid. I think it's like my sweet spot after playing, like, you know, these boss events for such a long time. And look at that, so both farms 1/0/0 as well, and this is the time at which I should probably be looking to upgrade the Druid. We are leaking some lives, so the timing is perfect, but I'm gonna greed out a little bit. So let's go for, I think, 2/0/0. Is that gonna be too much to ask? Yeah, let's go for a 2/0/0. We are gonna be leaking a little bit of lives. We do have Ben's level 3 ability, and he is restoring a little bit of lives, so let's see if we're gonna need it now. Yeah, I'm gonna use it. Let's just try and save as many lives as possible, and now I'm finally gonna buy the Millpad Druid. Yeah, there we go. Oh, and another tower that I want to check out actually is the Spike Factory, and again, this is, I think the Spike Factory gets treated as like a bunch of projectiles, and we know that we don't want to be attacking Blastapopoulos with a bunch of projectiles at once, but at the same time, I'm kind of questioning how that whole thing works, and at the same time, I'm not even, you know, having played these Blastapopoulos events, I'm not even worried about him overheating, if that makes any sense. So even though his overheating should be like a main part of the gimmick that the Blastapopoulos has, I think that it is just super weak, that I don't think that anyone cares about him overheating. I think people are just doing whatever they want, and I want to try it out as well. Alright, and just like that, we're on round 40, and let me just sell a couple of these farms because I want to try out 2 things versus the tier 1 actually. The first one is gonna be, I want to buy like 2 or 3 Spike Storms. Let's just keep it in 2 and see how we do. But if these guys do a lot of damage, then I think that it might be worth doing. So we're gonna have the first cooldowns, by the way, in a second, and let's see how we're gonna do. So that's gonna be ability number 1. Oh yeah, definitely they do a lot of damage to it. Let's use the second one. You know what, let me get a third one. Let's sell, I think I want to sell this one, by the way, at the back. And how are we doing with these countless? We don't exactly have that much counter power. Yeah, we stopped them. All right, so 3 abilities. This is gonna be the first call, and we're gonna get a ball launched onto this guy. So let's use both abilities, and let's see how everything is gonna do. But actually, look at this thing. So he is getting cooled down, because the way that we attack Blastapopoulos with Spike Factories is only when the spikes are active. So like this. So this is when we're attacking it. And actually, the skulls are getting triggered. Oh my god, what just happened? Okay, so we charged the thing in max, and our Spike Factories are not attacking it. Let's see how much damage we did to ourselves. So can we survive? This is my question. Yeah, definitely, he's chilling down. The Spike Factories are back to attacking, and I don't see a problem in using this strategy. Well, the only problem is that these abilities last super long, right? So it's like not a good strategy to go with abilities versus Blastapopoulos, but let me just wait for it. Okay, let's use all 3 at once, and okay, so that's a bad idea, because he stops taking, oh wait a minute, he doesn't stop taking damage. Oh no, look at what happens. Okay, so triggers the first skull, and then if there is enough damage on the track, he's gonna trigger the second skull, and you know, because these spikes get left on the track, so actually these spikes do a lot of damage, it looks like. And yeah, these Spike Factories, they definitely seem to be like a good choice, I think. So let's go. I'm gonna use the first. Let's just keep testing this thing. So I'm gonna use 1 ability. We have 2 abilities ready, so let's just kind of chill, and let's use the second one, see how much damage it does. Yeah, it does a lot of damage, especially when he bumps into the spikes. Yeah, I have absolutely no problem using these Spike Factories versus Blastapopoulos. The thing is the cooldowns, right? But if you're playing on a long enough map, then yeah, you can definitely get away with these Spike Storms. Alright, so for the tier 2, this is what I came up with. So let's see how we're gonna do with the money. We're missing a bunch of cash, by the way, with the super bill. So let's go like this. Let's get a 420 alchemists, and we're missing how much? We're missing about $12,000. So one of these farms is gonna have to go. So let's sell it. Let's buy the super bill, and let's see if this combo is gonna work versus the tier 2. So we know for a fact that it's gonna work versus the tier 1, but versus the tier 2 and with the overheating and everything, let's see how it's gonna work. Let me, by the way, not forget to just place these farms down. So let's go like this, and let's find a spot for the other one. Like this picks a perfect spot at the bottom. There we go. And now let me watch the overheating. Okay, so it is going kind of fast, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, this tag zone is just going to town on it. I mean, a good thing is that it's doing a lot of damage to it, but at the same time, it's filling it way too fast. So look at this thing. Like before we even reach the next skull, the heat bar is like at 60%. And so when the skull triggers, it's gonna fill it up, right? It's almost gonna fill up. It's like at 90% now. But like, do you care about this thing? So here's what I'm saying. Like this heat bar is filled up, and I don't think that we care about it because the overheat mechanic doesn't seem to be strong enough for you to kind of start caring about it, is what I'm saying. Like, so the boss overheats, and then what? Like, look at what's happening on screen. Okay, so we have these little flames on top of our towers, and they can't, you know, work or do whatever for like a couple of seconds, but it's so short that it just doesn't matter. Like, I don't care because my towers are stunned, but it doesn't do anything to them. Yeah, I definitely do not care about using the tag zone versus this boss. The overheat is super weak, but the problem that we're having right now is the fact that the boss is out of the range actually of the tag zone. So I guess we use the tag zone for the tier 1, and then for this one, let's actually restart and try the druids now. So look at these guys. Yeah, it works exactly the same, but the thing with these guys is they're a lot more powerful than the tag zone plus super brilliant combo, right? Because they're doing a lot more damage. But if you take a look at the heat bar, they're just destroying it. Look at this thing. Okay, so the heat bar is about to get filled up, and look at what's happening when it fills up. Nothing. So our towers did get stunned by a little bit. Okay, that's completely fine. And then look, they're back to attacking again. And you know what? The boss is gonna cool down by himself. We even triggered the skull while he's fully heated up, which does absolutely nothing. So he's gonna cool down by himself. And again, this doesn't do anything. So yeah, I think like this heating up mechanic needs to be reworked a little bit. I think it needs to be made a little bit more urgent, or I should say a little bit more powerful. So maybe the stun lasts for a lot longer, or maybe it does something else. Because the way that it is, like, I don't think that anyone cares about this thing, guys. And also, I think that the chilling of the boss needs to be a little bit, you know, bumped up, because, you know, you keep buying these ice towers and Poseidons and whatnot, but they just don't chill the boss that good, especially in the later tiers. But yeah, that's a very valuable lesson, and you know, a lot of important things that we learned in playing this Blastapopoulos. So yeah, absolutely, it looks like none of these things, like the multiple projectiles and the overheating, I don't think that they're that important, especially for the early tiers. And you guys know what? The early tiers are usually the ones that are, you know, the most important in dictating how your game is gonna go. So yeah, so far so good with this boss event. Let me just try and get our farming up and running, and I'm gonna see you guys in a second for tier 3. Alright, and just like that, tier 3 is out. 1.7 million HP, not a lot, but here's what I wanted to try for this one. So you guys know how the Dark Paragon is really good versus this one. Well, I wanted to buy the Dark Paragon, but I'm actually gonna keep it as degree 1, and I think that we can save a lot of money, and also just kind of showcase the power of the Dark Paragon versus Blastapopoulos and the power of the Dark Paragon on this specific map. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna buy the Apex Plasma Master, and I'm not gonna be putting any money into this thing. But yeah, as soon as he oh my god, as soon as he sees it, like, look at these balls just go to oh my god, that's just so satisfying to look at. And especially once you know that Blastapopoulos like surrounds himself with these rocks. So as long as the rock doesn't block the vision, which it kind of does. Look at this thing, look at the placement, it actually does block the Dark Paragon from seeing Blastapopoulos. So this might be like a, I don't know, like a double-edged sword in some cases, but yeah, once the rocks are gone, just the damage starts flowing it out. It's crazy, guys, how much damage this thing does. Yeah, this is just like a great Paragon for it, although he is gonna, we're gonna have to wait a little bit, right? Because he is gonna make an entire way around it. Okay, so his range is not actually getting reduced right now, so maybe if we're attacking like these other balloons. Okay, so 60k HP, and the boss left the range of the Dark Paragon, but you know what? We're gonna start attacking these balloons on the right side that are coming out from the top, and then the balls are gonna keep bouncing, and that's how we're gonna defeat it. It's really not a big deal, and at the same time, just showcases the power of the Dark Paragon. So what do I think I'm just gonna go for a monkey seed like this, and maybe you want to even boat farm a little bit on this map. You can do whatever you want with this map, so maybe we can just place a couple of boats just for fun. But yeah, that's gonna be a tier 3. One of the things that I've been noticing with Blastapopoulos is the fact that he does take a little bit longer to defeat than the other bosses because of this stun mechanic. So once he, you know, once you trigger a skull, he stuns all of your towers on screen, and he also reduces the range, so it's kind of the damage is delayed. It's not like you don't have the damage, but it just kind of arrives a little bit later. And yes, so and this 58 Apex Plasma Master actually is gonna be more than enough in defeating the tier 4. How fast is it gonna be? I don't know. Let's buy some of these chilling towers. So for example, let me get a super build, which for some reason just doesn't work, guys. I don't know what the thing is. I think Ninja Kiwi should definitely do something about this cooling of the... I'm gonna buy the Flying Fortress, by the way, just so it gets some pops. But Ninja Kiwi needs to definitely do something about this cooling mechanic of the boss, because look at the heat bar going up. I have a super build, and if I buy, like, I don't know, let's buy the absolute zero. Look at this thing. So I'm gonna use the ability. It barely did anything. Yeah, let's buy the Icicle Impale as well, just to show you guys. Let's go on strong, so we know it focuses down the boss. Yeah, it's the exact same thing happening all over again like the previous tiers. Like, it just doesn't matter. So I don't know, maybe like make the heat bar a little bit more important so the stun lasts longer. People actually have to pay attention to it, but at the same time you need to buff the amount of deheating that these towers do to the boss, because after like the tier 3, like these ice towers or Poseidon, they just don't do anything to cool down the boss. So yeah, but there we go. That was the tier 4, so it's kind of an easy pop, I want to say, especially with the Dark Paragon 58 degree. Alright, so let's start buying the Navark. We're not going to put any money into this thing because we have a bunch of boats, but we did buy the boats late, so yeah, that's why we only get degree 25 on this guy. This one could have been a lot higher, by the way. And let's buy the Goliath, and we are going to be putting a small amount of cash. Actually, I don't think the cash is going to do too much with this bonds, but I do want to save a little bit of money just for these damage amplification towers. So let's go with 1.36 million. I think that's going to be, was that a 48? Did I see correctly? Yeah, there we go. It's a 48. So this guy, he's going to do a lot of damage, but the ability is just not going to get used that much, I'm going to be honest, because it's Blastapopoulos. But yeah, let's use the remainder of the cash to buy this thing, the Glue Storm, and then let's, oh, did I calculate correctly? Yes, there we go. Just about it for the cripple mobs. So $7,000 remaining. That's really good. I think one of the things that we are definitely seeing versus this tier 5 is that we're attacking with a lot of projectiles. So look at the Goliath. Juggernaut balls are not that many, I'm going to be honest, but the boat is attacking with its guns on the sides and then the planes as well. This should at least be filling up the heat bar by like a significant margin, because it's like way too many projectiles to this thing. But I feel like the way that they made Blastapopoulos is that the further you go, the less sensitive to projectiles he is, because it kind of, you know, it makes sense in a way. But at the same time, we have such a huge mess on screen, and this guy is just not reacting to it. So it's like you're not even filling the heat bar. Just take a look at the heat bar. It's not even filling up, or we're attacking with like a million projectiles. So yeah, definitely a little of things to get like tuned with this boss, I want to say. But overall, it's a really fun one. The mechanic is such a different one than anything that we've seen so far. And also the HP, like they didn't save themselves with the HP. They just went ham with the HP on this guy. He's almost as strong as Bloons. Bloons is like 40 million HP. It's like this guy's at 35 million. So yeah, it's kind of close. And by the way, these projectiles that he releases on every skull, they've been quite annoying, I gotta say, because I think I've only used the ace ability like twice, if I'm not mistaken. Here's gonna be the third one, unless, let me actually see what happens. So he's gonna launch the bot, the Goliath, because it's the most expensive one, and the ability is raised. So what's gonna happen to it? Okay, so we cannot use the ability, and then is it gonna put it on cooldown? No, it's not. You can just straight up use it. Okay, so let me just have the barrage go like this. Let me use the ability, and I think, yeah, that's gonna bring it closer to the last call. So yeah, these cooldowns definitely get a little bit extended, but I think the margin by which they get extended is too annoying. It's a little bit annoying for the early tiers for sure. Like you guys saw the spike storms and everything, but yeah, once you get to these, you know, Paragons and everything, yeah, the Paragons mainly attack using their weapons, so it's not like these abilities are gonna be that important. There we go, Blastapopoulos, and we get a 104 Mermonkey. That's a good one. Let's review map. Let's just check the pop. So oh my god, 20 million on this guy, and then 20.5 onto the Goliath. Okay, so just shows you how good the Dark Paragon is, and then 8.4 on the Buccaneer. But yeah, that's gonna be for this one. Another Blastapopoulos week down, and it's a fun one. So I'm kind of looking forward, you know, to these more difficult Blastapopoulos events. But yeah, that's gonna be for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'm gonna see you on the next one.